So it's funny because my husband, he laughs. He tells me I have a beautiful mind because I'm constantly mapping and thinking of lots of different things. So even if I'm focused on one thing, I know that there's like a web of other things that I'm dealing with. And the story that you're talking about, I was thinking about it this morning because I'm coming here to the studio from school, from helping with decorating for the Christmas fair. And this was about 2 years ago now. I was at the Christmas fair and I was like actually running the entire craft corner for a bunch of kids, right? So there's about, I don't know, hundreds of kids coming through and we're making baubles and we're making snowflakes and all of this. I was there from 9 till 12. I went straight from there for a meeting at the Singapore Indoor Stadium because the night before, an event organizer had called me and asked if I could MC this massive concert that was happening at the indoor stadium. And I couldn't say no. So I went straight from school after running this craft corner for this meeting, had this meeting with them. And up until the point that I got there, they were telling me that I was just going to be doing a voiceover backstage. So now I get there and then they tell me, oh, actually, you're just going to go on stage and you just have to keep the crowd entertained for 20 minutes.
Nothing special.
Yeah, nothing special. And 20 minutes, I'll tell you, is a very long time to keep 15,000 people entertained. So all I'm thinking in my head at this point is actually, I don't even have an outfit. And it's my daughter's class Christmas party that afternoon, which I'm co-hosting with another mum because we're the parent reps. And so I finish this meeting, I go to the class party, I help with the setup. I feel really, really guilty that I have to leave and leave it to the other mums to run and manage. I then go home, I pull out an outfit from my dry cleaning pile because at this point I'm like, well, I need something that's formal enough. I'm ironing there because I've left my helper with the kids to help with the class party. And then at 6 p.m. I was on stage in front of 15,000 people at the Singapore Indoor Stadium and it was all in one day. And it's wild. I think I live 10 lives in a day.
Actually, you're a founder of Speaking Human. It's a concept, it's a philosophy. But before we are talking about that concept, would you share something about your background, your family background and your childhood, how you ended up here? Actually, with a book, writing a book.
Yeah, of course. So I was born in India and I lost my dad when I was 1 in a car crash. So my mum was a single parent for many years. And then so we lived in India. We were in New Delhi till I was about 13, just shy of 14. And then my mum got remarried and my stepdad was living and working in Beijing at the time. So when they got married, we moved to Beijing. And then from Beijing, we moved to Australia, which was home base for him. So I was in Australia around the time I was 15 and I finished high school there. And I met my now husband while I was at university in Australia. So he actually left Australia to go to university in the UK and he'd come back for the holidays and we met. And eventually, when he graduated from uni in London, he moved to Singapore. And I ended up moving here in 2011 to be with him. Eventually we got married and we had the kids. And so in all of this, I guess so that's kind of the personal journey. But on the professional side, I guess because I had the upbringing that I had, because when I was younger, money was really tight. Mum made a lot of sacrifices along the way to raise me. It was really important that I do well in the traditional sense, you had to be a lawyer, doctor, engineer of some kind. And anything short of that was just not good enough or not sustainable enough. And what I really wanted was to go to acting school actually in Australia. I ended up at dental school instead. And so then when I moved to Singapore, I was working here. We then actually ended up moving to Hong Kong for a while and I took some time off because they don't recognize the Australian degree there. And we moved back to Singapore in 2015 and I went straight back into dentistry and I was working full time, sort of 6 days a week. And when I had my kids, so I had my first one in 2017 and then the younger one in 2019, I think that was really when something shifted for me, where when I was 15, I sort of had this idea of where I wanted my life to go by the time I was 30, right? I had decided, since I wasn't going to go to acting school, I wanted to be a doctor of some kind. I wanted to be married. I wanted to have 2 kids. And so by the time I was about 31, I had hit all of those metrics that, you know, society had kind of conditioned me to want for myself. And I think by that point, I was like, okay, well, now is this the rest of my life? Like, am I going to do this forevermore, or is there something more to life? And I think that turning point, combined with how do I want to show up for my children and how do I want to like parent them and what's the role model I want to set for them,